Hey, what's up? And welcome to my corner of the internet. So, I have one question and one question only for you. Did you go through a vampire phase? If you did not, I don't know who to talk to. But if you didn't go through a vampire phase, an emo phase, if you didn't go through certain phases around my age range, I don't know how to talk to you. There's no real conversation we can really have. It's just a very important development within your character. That's the best thing I can tell you. You don't have the spice that's needed to be a personality. I'm totally kidding. So the show I'm going to recommend to you obviously is on the theme of a certain phase. And it's not really a phase. I actually really like this show. It's not half bad. It's just, it falls into the mix of that era of just vampire shows that were just coming out left and right. And this is a pretty good one. I think it was interesting. And the show I'm talking about is The Originals.
My mind haunted by the past.
Drink!
The agony.
So The Originals is a funny show. It's a funny show because it has so many different angles that it takes within its seasons. And I'll tell you this, it is just an interesting way of talking about vampires. And I love the different angles of attack this show took and how it melded the different areas of supernatural and how they used Louisiana to their benefit. And I just enjoyed the show. So basically, this show is about the Originals. The Originals are basically the founding vampires. They are probably one of the most powerful family ever created in history of the world. And they're basically the Michelsons. And the Michelsons are roughly 6 siblings. I might be off by 1 or 2. Off or high or low. It might be 1 or 2. Sorry, there's actually a lot of siblings. And we meet them throughout the seasons. And it's an interesting show because these are immortal, all-powerful originals and cannot be killed. And as the seasons go on, we learn that, yeah, you can't be killed, but there's other things we can do to you. And there is so much betrayal just littered throughout this entire show. There's just things that will just happen to one character. There's memories, there's trauma. And this is actually a family show. It's very heavily on the idea of family, love, and connection, and being there for each other, even though they can betray each other like the next episode.
Take it now. Go ahead. The choice is yours.
Oh my God, please help me knee deep in the...
And that's what's one of the most interesting things. How do you make all-powerful characters human, relatable, and even interesting? And The Originals accomplishes that. It accomplishes that by talking about how these immortal beings deal with love, deal with lust, deal with jealousy, deal with their growing up. Basically, they became all powerful at a very young age. How do you deal with that? What bad things are going to happen? Who were they? Because the Originals, they were not the best people throughout times. They've lived so long, so they've lived so many different lives, and they've done so many different things to each other. And it was based on the idea of, well, we're immortal. Who cares? But that hurt is still there. That trauma is still there. They make these characters so human. The only thing that changes is their lifespan and that they can rip people's necks across and spines out of them. That's pretty much it. And then they add characters to it. They have such an interesting story. And also, what kicks all of this off is their return to Louisiana, which was their home. And it was their home until they ran away from it for a certain reason, which I'm not going to spoil. But it's incredibly interesting how they made this story just so many layers with different issues for each and every sibling. And there's a couple siblings. I know I'm always off when I'm saying it. I just can't necessarily remember all of them because they come in and out. They're different characters. And I love how, well, my favorite is obviously going to be Niklaus and the main ones we meet in the beginning, Niklaus, Rebecca, and I just love them. They're just so cool. And I love how the characterization. I love how we never necessarily know their choices, but we know the feelings behind some of their choices. We understand the trauma that comes with the things that they've done and the things that they're trying to work through. And love the romance, the tragedy that comes in their romances. That's hurt. That's a different type of hurt. And the originals just does it so well.
Look at me. I love you. And I won't let you get yourself killed.
Come here.
I just needed you to know.
What I also enjoy about this show is it is built on this idea of change, hope, and progression. It's a lot of different things that basically are brought about because they're looking for change. They're looking to reclaim their home. And unfortunately, there's people that's just like, nah, we're not letting that happen. And Louisiana is an interesting city. It's a great backdrop for this story because I guess I found it so much more interesting to learn about a city and seeing so many different things be showcased. This witchcraft, the supernatural, a lot of the scenery is very fulfilling to the story. And it makes sense, and a lot of the characters are pretty cool. You're gonna fall in love with someone, you're gonna appreciate someone, and they might not be there a couple episodes later, just letting you know. And this is just one of those great shows. So if you need a vampire fix, if you're still going through your vampire phase, you should definitely check this out because this is a vibe. This show gets like a 3 out of 5 for me, only because like it's in the lieu of like those vampire shows. They can be a little cheesy sometimes. Sometimes it's just like, oh, it's just like they're not the greatest, but I think they're pretty cool, especially if you just accept what you're watching and enjoy the drama. This is vampire, familial, supernatural drama, and it's kind of hilarious. So anyway, give this a try. This is actually not half bad. Anyway, peace. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Happy New Year. I hope you're taking care of yourself, and peace.